Greetings and salutations, folks, and welcome once again, as always, to another helping of Mr H's Hot Pot. You join me today for day 45 of the UK lockdown, where currently I'm out and about, first thing in the morning. It's about 7 o'clock as I'm making this vlog, taking my daily exercise, trying to maintain social distancing from my fellow human beings as much as possible. And of course, as always, I'm bringing you guys along for the ride, albeit vicariously. So folks, before I start today's vlog, I'd just like to apologise for looking a little bit cream-crackered and a little bit tired and drawn this morning. Unfortunately, I didn't get much sleep last night due to my little son, Toby James, or my DS as the abbreviation is known in parenting forums. He had a bad night last night, and the reason for that, he was rubbing his eyes, he was screaming the house down, his nose was running, and we're thinking, myself and Mrs H, that judging from those symptoms, that he has got hay fever, unfortunately, and he's going to be plagued with that, certainly in his early life, unfortunately. And I feel particularly bad if that's the case, because I used to suffer from hay fever when I was a kid. Luckily, I've outgrown it as I've become an adult. That's why I can now come into a wooded area such as this, but certainly in my early years, I did suffer from it, and it meant that in a lot of cases there was early social distancing for Mr H, because back then, there wasn't much they could do 40 years ago. You know, they could give you tablets to ease the symptoms of it, but there wasn't really a lot they could do to sort of build up your immune system. So they used to just stick us in the schoolyard when I was at school. So during playtimes and, you know, dinner times and things like that, when the other kids was out on the field and you could hear the laughter and joy from over the school wall, I would be stuck with other sufferers of all ages and a nominated friend playing in an empty schoolyard, you know, and they'd sort of formed a bit of a leper colony. So there was some good friendships made in that schoolyard during that time with the fellow hay fever sufferers, but on the whole, it was a bit of a time that you thought, you know, I wish I could go out and play with my friends. So I do feel for Toby, if indeed he does have to do the same thing. Hopefully, in the intervening 40 years or so, medical science will have brought up something better than just segregating people, although look at the situation we're in currently today. Anyway, enough of Mr H's memories of the old schoolyard. Let's get on to today's vlog, shall we? Now, before I start and get into it proper, I'd just like to thank everybody once again for leaving comments and taking the time and trouble to make those comments on yesterday's vlog. It would seem that the news of Neil Ferguson, one of the top scientific advisors during this coronavirus pandemic to the government, he had to resign, didn't he, because he broke social distancing rules and lockdown rules that, ironically, he had helped to devise. Cue Tales of the Unexpected music. Yeah, he broke those and he's had to resign, and a lot of you left comments on that particular subject. You stated that the man really should have gone because he's broken his own rules. Also, he had a bit of a spotty track record when it comes to predicting things on a medical nature, so he's not been a great loss anyway. But by far the best comment came from someone who said you should always judge a man on his actions and not on his words, and I think that is a very good point. So it seems we're all in agreement that it was the right thing for him to fall on his sword and go, basically. Anyway, on to today, which is day 45, as I said, and it's another day and there's another news item, isn't there? And the big news item has been that Boris Johnson yesterday, when he got up in the House of Commons to take his first Prime Minister's questions since being struck down with coronavirus, he has signalled that he is looking to ease the lockdown period as of this coming Monday. You know, so what will probably happen is he will formally extend the lockdown today, and then he'll make his speech on Sunday, giving his ideas to slowly wind the lockdown period down. It does seem a bit of a long-winded way to go around the houses, doesn't it? But that's just British politics, and that's our system, basically. We'll just have to run with it. But it does look like he is looking to ease the lockdown period, which I don't know. How do you feel about that out there, folks? Do you feel that it's a good move forward? Or do you feel we're trying to run a little bit before we can walk, so to speak, and we could be ending up running headlong into disaster? I do know my very good friend Mike out there, who's been keeping in touch with me via text and commenting on these videos. Hello to you, sir. Hope you're doing well. He has signalled that really we should perhaps be a bit more cautious in moving forward. He thinks that, you know, it's better safe than sorry, which is a fair comment, really. And other people have said that they can't wait for this thing to be over, Mr H being one of those as well. I'm being a bit of an eager beaver, as Mike would say. But it's basically the fact that I just want to get back to doing my normal style of videos and things like that. I mean, as I've pointed out in my early vlogs, I have been practising social distancing most of my life. You know, it's probably a throwback to the old hay fever days for Mr H, really. But I have been practising that anyway, so it wouldn't make a big impact on me. I would be careful anyway, but what's your thoughts on that? Now, over in Orlando, in Florida, it was their first day yesterday of reopening, basically, under new lockdown measures, so to speak. You know, they're easing their lockdown, and they put new measures in place. And what they've been doing is things like they've been reopening restaurants for a sit-down meal, but where normally they would have a, say, a 100 seating capacity, they've only allowed them to have 25% of that, so only 25 people would be allowed in, and they'd have to sit, you know, spaced apart from one another. And they're bringing things in like that, and it's been interesting to see because there's been vloggers over there who normally follow Disney, the Disney parks and that, because they've been stuck for something to film, as indeed all YouTubers have. They've filmed empty streets and things, and they've filmed the first day of Orlando reopening. And to be honest, people are still living under lockdown. They've not all come out in one mad rush and thrown the shackles off, so to speak. So it'll be interesting to see if that would happen here as well. Again, what's your thoughts on that? Do you think that we would open up gradually and slowly, and many people will remain under lockdown anyway because they've got the opinions of my good friend Mike? You know, they don't want to run before they can walk and things like that. Be interesting to get your thoughts. Now, speaking of Disney, and many of you out there have a dim opinion of Disney. You see them as a cash-grubbing corporation. And Mrs H saw something that she said, mention this in your vlog because it's a little bit funny and a bit interesting. And I do have to agree with that statement of them being money grubbers, really, because, believe it or not, they have invented and created a range of masks that you'll be able to use, presumably, in their parks when they do eventually reopen, that have Disney characters on them. Can you believe that? I think they're knocking them out for $20 for 4, which obviously equates to $5 each, which is roughly in pound and pence, that's roughly about £3, I think. So, yeah, £3 a mask, and you'll be able to have a Disney character on the front of it. Limited choice and all that. And the sad thing is, folks, people will go out and buy them. And I suppose it will encourage people to wear masks, you know, so you can see their idea in some cases, but I think a lot of it is just jumping on the bandwagon. But why not leave your thoughts on that one as well, you know. Disney's masks, will you be going out and buying them? I certainly won't anyway. Right then, folks, we are coming up to the old 10-minute mark, so it is time to slowly wind down this particular vlog. Once again, a big thank you to everybody who has left comments regarding you've enjoyed this series of videos. I'm glad that you have. Many of you have also said that you'll be sad to see this series of videos finally wind up. Others have said that they'll be glad when the normal service resumes us. Not as you're getting fed up of Mr H, but you want to see the old stuff, which is good. And I do agree with you. I do want to get to that myself. Now, one of you out there has asked me, am I a professional filmmaker? You know, do I do this as a regular thing? I do regularly make videos, but I far from class myself as being professional. I really do. I just happen to have hit on a bit of a formula regarding these vlogs that have resonated with a lot of you. And that's the only reason that they're coming across as being pretty professional. What I try to do when I make videos, I try to be myself as much as possible. And that's something that I've learned from watching a lot of American vloggers and things like that. You know, there's a lot over there that I follow. I tend to watch a lot of American ones, mainly for what's going on in the Disney parks for Mrs H. So I've picked up a lot of tips on how they present themselves, and I've tried to do roughly the same thing, but obviously without the razzmatazz. Us British are a little bit more reserved when it comes to that, aren't we? But the main key when you're making videos is just try and be yourself. And hopefully that'll shine through. Some people will like you, some will not. Those that don't like you, stuff them. That's my attitude. Anyway, folks, on that rather positive note, I'm going to wind this one up here because I am at the 10-minute mark. So, folks, until tomorrow, when it'll be day 46 of the UK lockdown, and I will join you once again, it is a fond farewell, stay safe, and bye-bye for now.